Welcome everyone to the Student Union Society election debate of 2022. My name is Caitlin Garfias-Chan, Chief Electoral Officer, Governance Assistant, MC, and moderator for tonight's event. Before we begin, we have some ground rules. Tonight we have some ground rules before we can proceed. Number one, all U of E and Student Union Society policies, bylaws, and rules apply. Failure to adhere will result in a warning and possibly the removal from debate and election. And any candidates and those in attendance cannot interrupt whomever is speaking at any moment. The way it's going to work tonight is candidates will be separated by position into groups, and each executive candidate in a group will be given 2 questions to answer, and they have 2 minutes to answer that question. Their opponent is allowed to answer this question as well with a 2-minute response. Please respect when I say time, you cease to speak, and candidates will be given a 10-second warning. For our student representative positions, please note that they will only receive 1 question. Tonight, we have candidates who wish to obtain a seat within our executive team, consisting of president, vice president external, vice president of students, vice president internal, and student representatives at large. Now that I have spoken the ground rules and how tonight is going to look, we are going to begin with our presidential candidates. I would like them to introduce themselves with their name, program, major or minor, and the position, why they wish to run for this position. We shall start with the person to my right, my left.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mcdougall. I am rerunning to be your UFE SAS president. I hope to continue to provide you with impactful leadership, and I am in my final year of my kinesiology program with specialization in exercise science.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danica Elias. I am a political science major in my 3rd year, and I'm also looking forward to be able to run as president. I decided that I'd like to run because I believe it's a great opportunity to be able to serve the students at UFE, so I look forward to this debate.
Thank you, Mr. Lal and Ms. Elias, if I pronounced that correctly.
Oh, it's Elias.
Elias, thank you.
No problem.
We are going to now begin the questions. Our first question will go to Mr. Lal. Mr. Lal, you said that you want to promote diversity, inclusion, and innovation for UFE students. What are your plans to promote these values? Your 2 minutes, start now.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. This is a very important topic and something I'm extremely passionate about. I think it's important to recognize that UFE is extremely diverse, and that's a great thing. That's what makes our campus so beautiful and vibrant. And with that comes so much perspective. I want to continue to provide a safe place for all students and let them know that everyone has a place here. We at SAS have started this the Jedi Chronicles, which Jedi stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. So what that looks like is every month there is a new theme, and students are able to rent out books and be more informed, educated, and grow with the community. I only want to expand that and grow, and also, make some focus groups, figure out what issues are going on. I understand that, this is a very important thing, important topic, and I want to ensure that I'm continuing to provide an impactful experience here for students and continue to do what I can to ensure that everyone has a safe place at the university.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lal. Ms. Elias, do you wish to respond to the question?
I do not wish to respond.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of which, Ms. Elias, it is your question next. Ms. Elias, the president...
It's just Elias.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm fancifying it so much.
It's a little bit more fancy when you say it.
Ms.
Elias.
Ms. Elias, the president is known for contributing to non-academic interest of students. What is a non-academic topic you wish was explored in post-secondary institutions all around Canada, and how would you try to see this topic implemented? Your 2 minutes start now.
First off, I think that's an interesting question, but also very important. I would say that university is an experience that isn't just about academics. It's about the connections that you make, the time that you spend involving yourself on campus. And that's what really can make or break your university experience. So over the past several years when we've been experiencing COVID, it hasn't been the type of learning experience that I'm sure a lot of us have hoped for. And so I think that clubs and associations are a really big investment that the university needs to make so that students are feeling connected with one another on campus. And I know that we have a bit of a reputation to be a commuter campus. We don't necessarily like to stay after hours and congregate on campus, but I feel like that's something that we're starting to change. It's something that we're starting to invest in now that we're back on campus with one another. And so that's what I hope to enhance. I hope to encourage more students to be able to connect on campus, develop strong relationships that they will maintain even after they finish up at UFV. So I think that's my answer. It's just I want to increase the engagement on campus.
Thank you, Ms. Elias. Mr. Law, would you like to respond?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Law, this next question is for you. You say in your statement that you will work with UFV to continue to grow services on campus for students' mental health. What kinds of services do you envision and how will you implement them? Your 2 minutes start now.
Thank you. That is a question that really, mental health is something that I put on my statement because it really touches dear to my heart. Mental health, I think we can all agree, is something that is essential to all students. This past year, I've done a lot of work and a lot of research in regards to mental health. We attended a conference called the Student Union Development Summit, in which I was inspired by mental health and the initiatives that were being pushed and destigmatization. I think that is extremely important for students to understand that it is okay to get help. You know, I think this last year, from the pandemic, the BC floods, we can see that it's tough. It's tough to be a student, but that's okay. You know, we're all in this for an experience and one that we'll share together and grow. And by utilizing more mental health services, promoting that, it'll only expand that scope and what we can actually do. In September, if re-elected, my plan is to release a big comprehensive mental health survey in which I will use that data to reduce the barriers in mental health services that are collected by students. And with that, work with the university and obviously SUS, our organization, to grow the services, expand what services are already there, and ensure that students are aware of it for the many different reasons they may need to use it. And just to grow the service overall and just ensure that it's destigmatized and make sure that we're making a strong push to have sustainable resources that students can utilize at all times.
Thank you, Mr. Law. Ms. Elias, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I actually would like to respond to that.
Okay, your response, 2 minutes, start now.
One of the key takeaway points that I noticed in Mcdougall's, brief synopsis of his plan for the next term is that he'd like to present a survey to all students on campus. And while I think that that is a great opportunity to be able to accrue statistical data, I don't necessarily feel that it pushes the idea of connecting with students on campus. And I think that that's something that I can really bring to the table as a candidate, is that I will be able to connect with students on campus. That's part of what I enjoy. That's part of what I enjoy already with my role as the College of Arts representative, and it's something that I would really like to carry forth if I'm elected president. So I think that I just wanted to kind of touch that although surveys can really be useful to understand the opinions of students, I think that on the ground work is something that really needs to be focused on, and it's something that I want to push if I'm elected.
Thank you for your response, Ms. Elias. The last question goes to you, Ms. Elias. So you say in your candidate statement that you want to ensure that every student experiences an environment that is characterized by comfort, accommodation, quality, and fair treatment. How will you ensure this experience for UFV students? Your 2 minutes start now.
I think that a lot of the programs that SUS already has do act in the best interest of students, but I think that they can always be improved. And this is something that I will carry forth as a mandate, is that in every operation that I'm responsible for, everything that I oversee will always have the students in mind. And so when I say that I want it to be focused on quality accommodation and fair treatment, that's exactly what it means. It means that those principles are at the forefront of all of my operations and everything that I do if I'm elected president.
Thank you, Ms. Elias. Mr. Law, would you like to respond?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much to Mr. Law and Ms. Elias for your presidential candidate question answers. And we will be right back with our vice president external candidates. Welcome back, everyone. We now have our vice president external candidates on the stage. And I would like them to start off by introducing themselves by name, program, major or minor, and why they wish to run for vice president external. We shall start with the person on my left.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Mcdougall. I'm in my 4th year at UFV. I'm studying economics and political science. I'm rerunning for the role of Vice President External with SUS because student advocacy is something I'm really passionate about. I've had a lot of success in my past term with student advocacy, both through my advocacy on the fall reading break at UFV, as well as advocating through our lobbying partners, both provincially and federally. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Untitled. I'm running for the position of Vice President External. And the reason why I'm running for this position is because I would like to bring an international student perspective in the union. And there are many things that I would focus upon. Talking about my education, I am a student of UFA obviously, and I have done many courses over here. And majority of them have been focused upon leadership, human resource management, business management. So I would really like to implement all this knowledge that I've gained through this university. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first question goes to Ms. Mcdougall. You talk about continuing the Know Your Rights project. Could you tell us a little more about your future plans for the project?
Yeah. So so far this term, we've had a lot of success with this project. We've had several videos come out where we do interviews with kind of the high level people at UFB in like just an interview style. We've done recent videos on academic misconduct and as well as bullying, harassment, and discrimination. We're filming an upcoming one very soon on the policies UFB has surrounding sexualized violence, and which is an issue that I'm passionate about and really want to like advocate on. And so coming up, we just want to continue this project and continue more important conversations surrounding these kind of things. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Mcdougall. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Tashalo?
I just would like to add that's a really nice show that you have recently started, and even I'm watching it. But such type of recommendation or advice I could give would be something that could even focus upon students, the international students who are coming every semester, because they are the one who really need information. Because when I have recently came here in November and I did not had any kind of information, so that could be a recommendation. So that is something that I would like to do.
Thank you, Mr. Tashalot. This next question actually goes to you. Mr. Tashalot, the Student Union Society had a close and active relationship with the Canadian Alliance of Student Association to assure student voices are heard and represented. What is notable topics are accessible and affordable funding? What is another topic you wish to bring to the CASA stage? Your 2 minutes start now.
There are many topics that I would like to bring towards everyone, not only limited to CASA. One of the things that I'm aiming for is the abolishment of the flat fee system. If many people, I don't think anyone would be aware of that. According to the flat fee system, international students are compulsory to pay for 12 credits. Even if we end up taking only 9, we still have to pay. And in comparison to domestic students, we are paying 4.5 times, that's 450% more. So I would like to, if that's some government regulation, as I'm not someone who really know more about legal, but if it is, I don't believe so, something should be done, not only from the government end, but also from the union end.
Thank you, Mr. Tashalo. Ms. Mcdougall, do you have a response?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mcdougall, this next question is for you. You wish to become a more active member with the Canadian Alliance of Student Association, or CASA, as well as continuing with your campaign for a fall reading break. How will you balance the two priorities if reelected?
Yeah, I mean, I think balance is definitely important. I think within the scope of the role, there's a lot of room to have both for sure. With the fall reading break, I've had a lot of success in talking to UFB admin about this, and who are supportive of bringing this project forward, and that's something that I want to do for sure. And additionally, I think it is very realistic to also include getting more involved with CASA. Because I ran in the by-election, it's difficult to kind of get more involved kind of halfway through. And so going forward, I really want to get involved with CASA through either running for an officer position or joining a committee on CASA. So, and I think there's definitely room for both in the scope of the position.
Thank you, Ms. Mcdougall. Mr. Tashilot, do you have anything to respond with?
I would just like to add on, if that question would have been asked to me. My reply would be, I know that it's really tough to manage. Especially it will be extra tough for me because I will also have to manage my job. I will have to manage my position and also have to manage my education. So I have considered that, and I have been thinking about for this position for a while. So I had made my academic planning in such a way that all the courses that I would get, that would be in comparisonly, I would have to devote less time towards that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tashilot.
Is it possible for me to respond to that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think with this position, it is a student advocacy position, and I think it's really important to kind of have it as a priority. And so I think given if you do have another job, I think it's just important to kind of put this as the priority, given that it is a student advocacy role. And I would say that if elected, I would kind of have it as a bit of a priority. Thank you.
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
I have even thought about that. My job is a night auditor in Sandman Hotel, so it wouldn't be much of a struggle, but you have a really great point. I believe in life you can only focus. There's a book that I read which is about 4 burners, so you can only focus at one thing at immense level at 200%, while on other things, if you want to be focus upon many things, then you can only focus upon 50% in all. So if I do get elected, my all focus will be toward the advocacy, because this is a chance of a lifetime, I believe.
Thank you very much for both of your inputs. The last question goes to Mr. Tashilot. You mentioned in your statement that all and every decision will be accounted for, transparent, and easily accessible for students, and they will be given every right to question the thinking of either yourself or the board. What would happen if a decision were unable to be made transparent or must be confidential for a period of time? Your 2 minutes start now.
If there are, I don't think many decisions should be made that, because the union will be taking decision which will be for the welfare of the students, obviously. So I don't think there would be any decision, but let us assume that there are those decisions. Then we have to respect the privacy of not only the university and the union. So in such cases, we can obviously work upon something and just give a basic, broader concept to them. Because if we are taking a decision, we are taking a decision on a problem, right? That is of a student. So the best thing is that we could give a broad solution in place of giving them exactly what was the conversation. That would be the best thing. But blinding someone whom we are working for is not really right at the end of the day. Even if it's for their welfare, it is not for their welfare till the time they know it. Like we discussed about Know Your Right shows, that really good show, I must say. I did go through the Facebook page, Instagram page of the union, and one of the things that also I would like to focus upon, they have not been written in my candidate statement due to few reasons, but would be to help us increase its audience reach, which I think we are lacking. Even if I make, the problem is not transparency of information, it is that the information is not reaching people. Everything is transparent, but people don't know it exists. That is the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Tashilot. Ms. Mcdougall, would you like to add?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much to Mr. Tashalo and Ms. Mcdougall. Those are your Vice President external candidates. We will be right back with our Vice President of student candidates. Okay, welcome back, everyone. And now we have our Vice President of student candidates in the hot seat. And I would like them to each introduce themselves, once again, by name, program, major or minor, and why they wish to run for Vice President of Students. We shall start with the person on my left.
Awesome. Thank you, Caitlin. My name is Stefan Buchhorst. I'm currently in the Bachelor of Arts program, majoring in theater and minoring in sociology. I am currently running for the Vice President of Students position, and I want to run just because I would like to create more engaging events for students on campus, as well as make more opportunities for clubs and associations to represent themselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Bailey Jock. I use she, her pronouns. I am currently a fourth year social work student, and I am running for Vice President of and I'm running just because I'm very passionate about amplifying student voices to make sure they're heard. And also I'm really interested in digging deeper to discover, what students really want, what they want for their university experience, and I'm really looking forward to potentially being part of the solution. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Claudia DeBoyne. I am in my fourth year in the kinesiology program. I'm specializing in the exercise science area. I am running for the position of Vice President Students because I'm very passionate about helping and supporting students. And I really hope to cultivate a community on campus where we can celebrate not only our education, but also our successes in our community.
Thank you very much for the introductions. Let's begin with Mr. Borkhurst. So your statement included the promise to recreate accessibility and support for clubs and associations when creating their own events. How would you improve on the current policy in regards to SUS and clubs and associations?
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, I have been a student since 2013, and I've definitely seen a lot of changes with clubs and associations over the years, including accessibility to funding and how they can create their events. And I have seen the policy change quite a numerous amount of times, but I feel like one of the major problems is a lot of the terminology. And I feel like making it easily understandable for students to create clubs and associations without having to go through a lot of definitions for certain things in the form. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Ms. Jacques and Ms. DeBoyne, do you have anything to respond with?
I do not.
I do. So I definitely, just to kind of piggyback off of what you have just said, I think it's really important that we use simplified language in these policies so students actually know what they're signing up for. I've worked alongside my campus life in pastoral for student life, and that's one of the main things that kept popping up is the language used. And I think, if we're taking a holistic approach to, all things that we're doing within the union, I think it's really important that we're able to use simplified language to really reach students where they're at. It's really important.
Thank you, Ms. Jacques, for your response. And the next question goes to you, Ms. Jacques. One of your promises is to restart the Advanced Leadership Program. What kinds of topics do you envision for the program?
Yeah, great question. This is actually a project I am very passionate about. For those who are not too familiar, the Advanced Leadership Program was something that was implemented a few years back with us, and essentially focuses on, bringing in community leaders, talk about, societal issues, bringing light to, speaking about those really hot topics. And some of those topics that I'd really like to bring in, I'd really like to talk more about how we can be better allies within our school community and beyond. I think that's really important, especially when we're trying to cultivate those really close relationships. And I'd also like to, there's a variety of them. I'd really like to focus on sexualized prevention. We have a really awesome team here at UFE through student life. And maybe, integrate some of our clubs and associations to, host some of these seminars, just so we're able to cultivate that aspect of community. And then we're also providing more opportunities for our clubs and associations to, get involved in, whatever topic they want to share. So yeah, it's a very, very broad range of topics. I'm really looking forward to being able to possibly, explore what students want and to, go forward from there.
Thank you, Ms. Jacques. Do either Ms. DeBuin or Mr. Borkhurst have anything to add?
I don't.
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Ms. DeBuin, this next question is for you. In your statement, you said that you will pursue an environment on campus where students support students. What kinds of programs or events will you create to form this environment?
Thank you for the question. I hope to just get students on each other's side, I guess, is the most important thing for me. Because I know as a student, then this kind of comes into creating more resources for students and mental health initiatives. I want students to know that we're all together in this. We've all gone through COVID. We've all gone through the floods and the wars right now. We are all in this together, and we need to support each other, I think is the biggest thing that I want to focus on. In terms of creating this environment, I hope to have more of promotion for student clubs and associations. I want to create more awareness of them, and I want to do so by engaging students a lot more, and I want to make them more aware of the events that they have that are already happening. So not only do we have student events that we want to create, but we also have some that are already happening. So we want to create more awareness for this. We want to create a student calendar maybe, just getting students to know that there are other students who want the same thing for each other, I would say.
Thank you very much. Do any of our other candidates have anything to respond?
I'd actually like to respond to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Just actually adding on to that as well too, is that I have noticed pre-COVID especially too, is that there has been somewhat of a negative relationship with students and the Student Union Society. I've definitely had conversations with a lot of those people as well too, trying to understand their perspectives. Just so adding on to that, I think I would like to create more of a positive relationship and create a more welcoming environment for those students as well too. And just because I've seen a lot of changes. I've worked at SUS for over 3 years now, and I've seen a lot of changes in the staff members and the electoral staff as well too. And I feel like this year especially, there's a very strong team in the office right now, and I believe that we can definitely make a better relationship with the students on campus.
Thank you. Do you have anything to respond with, Ms. Jacques?
Yes, I do. I definitely think when we are interacting with clubs and associations, something I'm going to probably reiterate several times, it's important to dig deeper to see, what our students need. And that's actually something I've actively been working on. I've been reaching out to all clubs and associations, asking about, what support services do you folks need right now? Or are there any supports in the future that, you need? Just essentially getting on the students' levels and just being able to be a positive, Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I able to kind of add on to that as well?
Go ahead.
Am I allowed?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to add that I wanted to make it easier for students to access the services that we have at school. So a big thing would be I know going to the Student Life Center is a big area where students can find support and find their resources, but I want to make it easier to access these resources. I want to make it possible so that students can find the email, the building, phone number all in one place instead of having to go finding different websites and going into the school, even though they might not actually have the time to do all of that, because that might add on to the stress and anxiety of just kind of not really knowing what to do or if you're doing the right thing in order to get what you want as a student. So again, with support for students, I wanted to increase the accessibility of those resources and make it easier to find and just increase awareness of where to find them.
Thank you so much for your responses. So we're going to go back now to Mr. Wilkhurst. Studies have shown that sexual violence on campus is occurring at unacceptable levels. Do you have any programs that you propose CES carry out to reduce sexual violence on campus?
Well, actually, my mom, Sam Smith, was a part of the Pride Commission a while back as well too, and she actually had a lot of great programs that she did work with that basically made more students aware of different programs and different ways that they can combat this as well too. And I believe that we should definitely bring those types of programs back because the more information that people have, the more aware that they can become. And at the end of the day, information is power.
Thank you. Do any of the other candidates have anything to add?
I just wanted to add that I think we should all take like a leadership role when it comes to preventing sexual violence. We should all be advocates whenever we see something that might hint to something or just the type of discussions that we know goes on in people of our generation. We should definitely advocate for each other and just speak out when we can. I think it's a very important thing to add to that.
Thank you, everyone. Ms. Jacques, this next one's for you. In your statement, you wish to increase engagement opportunities for students throughout various events and workshops. What are some events and or workshops you want to be held?
Yeah, for sure. So I think events and workshops very broad. I really want to again get on students' levels and ask what they want. I think different initiatives such as like sexualized violence, as we spoke about earlier. I really want to bring more like professional development opportunities because I think that we, as like the student union, we like there's like lots of fun activities which are so vital to the university experience. But I also think there's more professional development seminars or workshops. Maybe we have community leaders come in and different job opportunities or career opportunities because ultimately those are the foundational blocks for when we leave UFB. And I think that's an area that I really would love to strengthen, and it's an area that I'm really passionate about, especially through my experience with UFB. I quite often held various workshops around vulnerability, lots of work around Brene Brown, lots of advocacy work through that area. Just asking students, what do you need? What do you want? What can I do to help you? And ultimately, I won't make any decisions on specific topics until I hear what the students want. It's really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of the other candidates have anything to add?
I actually just wanted to add one thing as well.
Okay.
Kind of expanding upon that point as well too. I feel like creating more engaging events, whether they do be fun or they are more informational and professional, I feel it's very important because one thing that I've always remembered what teachers have told me, if you look around this classroom, these are the people that you're going to be working with in the future. These are the people that you're going to have to have relationships with. And sure, I know certain students have made relations with some people, peers in their classrooms, but having these events that really bring people together, you're just going to have a much more positive experience with these students, with each other. And then maybe you'll see them down the road, be like, hey, I remember this person. They were at this event. It was an awesome event, and I love working with this person now because I've had a history with them. And you make those connections to help further your career and your life in general, I feel. That's it.
Thank you. Any other responses or add-ons?
No.
Okay. Ms. Devlin, this last one is for you. You wish to promote a safe space for the team to meet with fellow students, including clubs, associations, and organizations. Do you mind expanding your thoughts on this?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I wish to create a safe space through just promoting the clubs and associations and organizations. I feel that there are so many opportunities for students to really find their niche and find where they can just be themselves among their peers. I feel that's so important because again, we need to know we're not alone. We need to know that there are other people who are just like you, who are interested in the same things and want to share the same things with each other. Again, this is like just a safe space because it's somewhere where you can feel you can just be yourself. And I feel like that in university, that's so important because you really are navigating all of those paths. You're finding yourself, you're finding what you like, you're finding what you want to do for the rest of your life. So I feel that through using clubs and organizations and associations, this will not only promote that for yourself, but you'll find the people that you're going to be doing, like going through those paths with, just like you mentioned earlier. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have anything to respond?
I do not.
I do not either.
Okay, thank you to our Vice President of Student Candidates for coming up. And coming up next, we will have our Vice President Internal Candidate. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with our Vice President Internal Candidate, and I would like him to introduce himself by name, program, major, or minor, and why he wishes to be our Vice President Internal.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Mcdougall. I'm running for VPI and currently my third year, or my penultimate year of my political science major. I'm running for VPI because I'd like to continue the work that has been accomplished in the past few years, especially regarding, policy standardization and the digitalization of SUS records.
Thank you. So this first question, Mr. McGowan. The Student Union Society relies on the VPI to analyze other institutions in comparison to UFV, along with developing a strategic plan for the coming year. What is a topic you wish to put on the strategic plan, and was this inspired by something a different institution has done?
Well, good question, Caitlin. My idea for VPI is really, in keeping up with the transparency goals of SUS and upping up the work that has been done. I'm not currently familiar with work that has been done by other organizations. However, I'm familiar with associations we are currently members to, such as the ABCS and also CASA.
And now, finally, Mr. McGowan, you mentioned briefly in your statement that policies require a general revision and how you are interested in continuing for the sake of consistency, clarity for the next administrations. Has there been a particular policy or bylaw that struck this to be mentioned in your candidate statement?
Well, as Mr. Borkhorst and Jacques have mentioned, there needs to be a work on the wording of policies so they're more clear for everyone and they don't have to work with, it doesn't have to be open to interpretation. That's the biggest concern. I do not have any in mind. However, I do know of 2 students that wanted to run for VPI but couldn't meet the deadline. And so I want to look into the elections section of policies and bylaws to make it more open for students that want to be in board and want to be representatives of other students at the university. And so that's something I'm looking at already.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. And that is our Vice President Internal Candidate. Coming up next will be our Student Representative candidates. Okay, everyone, welcome back. Last but certainly not least, we have our Student Representative at Large candidates. I'd like to have you guys introduce yourselves with your name, program, major or minor, and why you wish to be a student representative. I'll start with the person on my left.
Hi there, my name is Mcdougall, and I'm a global development student here at UFV. And the reason why I'm running is I want to bring light to issues that accessibility might come across or any other issues that students might come across.
Hi, my name's Ishika. I'm currently in my 3rd year of the Bachelor's of Science program, and I'd like to run as a student representative to address the concerns of the student population and revitalize the clubs and associations at UFV.
Thank you very much. Our first question will go to Mr. Graywall. As a representative, you must be aware of issues within the student body. What is an issue that must be brought to the table on your first day?
The biggest issue, I believe, is issues that international students might come across. Even though I'm not an international student, like many of my family members are international students, and they have so many issues they come across. First, like the biggest, like the fees they had to pay, and also personally, my cousin, he was working at a restaurant and he then got paid for 6 months, and it's not just only him, but like a bunch of other students are facing the same issue, and I think we need to bring that issue to light and also bring awareness what your rates are and stuff like that.
Thank you very much. Does the candidate side you wish to contribute?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that aside from that, I think students are also dealing with mental health issues that which they're not willing to address. And I think just having the resources available for them to access is super important. And even though a lot of things are currently in place, I'd just like to add on to that and make sure that students are aware that they're in place so that they can access them when they need them.
Thank you. This last question goes to Ms. Sethi. You promised in your statement to advocate for reduced student fees to reduce the financial burden that comes with post-secondary education. To whom will you advocate for reduced student fees, and what kind of fees will you advocate to reduce?
Yeah, so I'd like to advocate for reduced student fees, specifically for the international students, as some of the other candidates were mentioning. It places a huge financial burden on the international students, especially when they're paying 4 to 5 times the fees, and especially with the flat fee system. I'll be addressing these concerns to the UFE governing body, as well as just reducing some of the fees that maybe students can opt out of, that for fees, that some of the fees that students that may not be accessing, such as the shuttle fees.
Thank you very much. Mr. Graywall, do you have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. And before we end things off, I do like to mention that there was a third candidate for the student representative, Ms. Ravneet Sohal. You can check out her candidate statement at ufvsus.ca/elections. And with that, our debate is complete. Thank you to everyone who came out, and a special thanks to everyone who worked hard to make this event happen. And thank you to our candidates for attending tonight's event. The debate recordings will be posted onto the SUS website, and our campaign period will continue to March 20th, with voting beginning on the 21st to continue until the 24th. Please remember to keep an eye out for your email for any voter information. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.